Mind my baby darlings. I'm not 100% sure how to start this video, so we'll just start rambling and hope I get to a point. But I'm pansexual. Yesterday was Pansexual Wednesday, and I wanted to make that video yesterday, obviously, because whole theme thing, but I just didn't find the time, and I hate that excuse, but it's true. It's the last couple of weeks were just horrendous. So I really don't know how to start this. So what I want to talk about is, yes, I identify as pansexual, and usually these videos are a bit more about the coming out thing, but I was very lucky. I grew up with a family, with parents, with my whole environment being very liberal and not really caring about your sexuality. Not in the way that I don't care what you are, but in the way of I don't care who you love. I just care how you love. It doesn't matter if you like boys or girls or both or anything in between or anything around it. All that doesn't define you. What defines you is how you love, how you treat other people, how you express your emotions towards other people, how you treat the people that you do not like, and how you treat the people that you do like. How do you include and exclude people? That is what defines you. And that's how I was brought up. So when I realized that I'm not just into boys, but also into girls, and anything in the binary spectrum in between that, and people who fall out of the binary spectrum, that I actually didn't really care. I was like, my whole thought process was, huh, okay, guess I'm pan. And then I was out. I skipped the whole being in the closet thing, and I skipped the whole coming out scenario, which is really lucky. I'm so lucky, and I know that. But what I want to talk about really is how I came to the conclusion, because that was a whole different process. I find myself right now in this emotional situation where I feel comfortable talking about it. I never made it a secret, but I always sort of shied away of talking about it. I only talked about it with certain people, and only to some extent. I'm highly depressive. I'm not diagnosed, which is another thing why I don't like to talk about it too much, but I know that I've been depressed since I was like 12, 14, something there, like beginning of teens. And the way that expresses with me is that I become incredibly lethargic and self-destructive, and that I never really thought of myself as important. I never really took time to think about my own emotions, because I thought, if you consider your own emotions, if you think about yourself for too much, you're self-centered and you're an awful person and you are not important. You don't matter. You're always the fifth wheel. You are not important. And that is how I felt about myself, and sometimes still do. And then I came to a point where I found myself thinking, would anyone actually notice if you're gone? Would anyone care? Your parents would. My parents would be devastated, but other than them, would anyone actually care? And that thought scared me so much. I would never hurt myself because I'm so scared of physical pain, but the thought that this occurred to me was just such a wake-up call. And I started to reevaluate everything, and that is when I realized really that, oh my god, you are so messed up. You need help. You need to reach out to people. You need to reevaluate every thing that you did and said and the way you thought about yourself, because that is not healthy. You're destroying yourself. And around that time I started watching YouTube more, which came from a totally different point, but it just happened to be at that time. And there were two communities that really changed the way I thought about myself, and that were the nerd fighters and the heterosexuals. And through Hank and John and Hannah, through their channels, through how they talked about emotions and self-esteem and everything, I learned that it is not self-centered to think about yourself. It's healthy. You need some time to consider how you feel. You need some time to consider if you like something or dislike something. You need some time to re-energize. And I never thought about it that way. I always gave to everyone, made sure that everyone is okay and that everyone is happy and that no one has problems, and there was just no energy left for myself. And they taught me that it's okay to sometimes say no and stay at home and re-energize and make things for myself. And through that thought process, through that re-evaluating my whole life, through the realization that I need some time with myself, I started to rethink pretty much everything I ever said and done, and reactions I had and thoughts that I had. And I don't really know what triggered it, but at one point I just thought to myself, do you like girls? Like, do you like them, maybe? And I started to see a lot of my thoughts from that perspective and realized, oh my god, that makes so much more sense now. Basically, this whole thing, it wasn't really a long time. It was just 2 months, I think, pretty much around my 25th birthday, that I just realized, dude, you're not gay, but you're not straight either. And I started to check out a lot of websites and forums about the LGBT and realized that the definition for pansexuality is what fits best to how I feel. And now it's pretty much 2 years later, pretty much exactly 2 years later since I had this whole thought process, and I'm still learning. I'm still, I still very easily manipulate myself and sometimes have really harmful thoughts about myself, but generally I'm feeling so much better now that I realize that, and now that I've told my parents that, like, 1, I'm not straight, and 2, I need help with certain things, because I just so easily fall into holes where it's so draining to get out of. And I have months where I barely can get out of bed. Just the step of going out of the bed, getting dressed, things like that, need so much energy that I'm already drained before I even start breakfast. And all I want to do is crawl back into bed. And all my parents know that, a lot of my friends know that. And it really helps, because they see those triggers, they see how I sometimes digress into that hole again, and they start pulling me out. And why I really wanted to make this video is, want to tell you guys, please, please, please take care of yourself. It's okay to have a day where you just re-energize, a day for yourself. It's okay to think about your own self. It's okay to say no, and it's okay to reach out. It's so important to reach out. It doesn't matter if it's because you're questioning your sexuality, or if you realize that you might have a mental illness, or if you have a physical illness or anything. It does not matter what it is, but it's okay to take the time. It doesn't make you self-centered, it makes you healthy. And I am so thankful to Hank and John Green and to Hannah Hart and all these other YouTubers who taught me that I'm not a bad person, that I'm important as well, because that thought never occurred to me before, ever. In 25 years, it never occurred to me that I might be important as well. And they, I mean, I didn't really talk one-on-one with them, but through their videos, they told me, you're important too, and it's okay. It's going to get better. And I'm so thankful for them, and I'm so thankful for the communities they built, because I've met so many people and I really came out of my shell, and most of them only know me as this really confident young woman who organizes a lot and has all these ideas. In reality, I'm in constant doubt and constantly drained by now so much of my backbone. Without them really knowing it, they support me so much and give me strength. And I mean, guys, if you tell me things like that I'm beautiful or smart or funny, I don't really believe you, but it still makes me happy that someone might say that. And that's a process that really is good, because 3 years ago I would have contemplated why these people would lie to me. What did I do wrong? Why are they playing a prank on me? That was my process when someone gave me a compliment. Now I'm like, oh, that's really sweet, but I don't really believe it, but maybe there's a hint of truth on there, and maybe this one person really thinks that about myself, and that makes me feel so good. You have no idea. And I wouldn't be where I am right now without those communities. And I'm a work in progress. I'm still learning so much, and I'm getting better day by day, and I have a lot of fallbacks, but I'm better. What I'm trying to say is, thank you, all of you, the YouTubers and the communities, all of you, thank you so much for everything, really. And I am pansexual, and I'm proud of it. And I have a mental illness, but I won't let it get me down. It doesn't define me. I am not my mental illness. It's a part of me. And it's not the only thing about me. And I can overcome it. I truly believe that. And you guys taught me that. And you can too.